Hello, YouTube fans, here again. And this one's got me thinking a lot because when I was talking about the 90s films, I actually saw one of my wonderful comments. And one of them was telling me about a film called The Goodfellas. That's right, The Goodfellas, starring Ray Liotta, Mae West, Joe Pesci, one of my favourites, and one of my very favourites, one of the best actors of all time, that being Robert De Niro. That being Goodfellas, based on a true story, based on the mafia. What else can I say about Goodfellas? So the film come out in 1990, and this was a year when you could say a lot of gangster films come out in 1990. We had the third Godfather, and a lot of gangster films, believe it or not, won awards for that golden year of 1990. That was funny. It's funny. I always remember the classic 1990 ad. It was sold a lot. And remember the TV spot. You look like a dancer. I always remember that iconic ad. So yeah, Radio even his big break. This would have been Radio his second outing because we all might if people know anything about Radio again, May he rest as he's sadly no longer with us. A lot of people might remember him in a film called Field of Dreams, which is very hard to watch now because Field of Dreams he plays a ghost of a basket, not a basketball player, a baseball player. And it's very hard to watch now. Same as Ghost is a hard film to watch because we all know two good actors being Patrick Fraser and Ray Liotta. Funny enough, paid ghosts. And I wanted there. They are ghosts. They're sadly no longer with us. May the rest. But this was a good outing. This is his second outing. And like I say, it's based on a true story. And this really shows what dancers are really like. And I like the way you get the monologue with Ray Liotta throwing the back down and everything. So it starts off that first with Ray Liotta as a kid. I like the lad that plays him as a teenager. And it starts off he's skipping school. These were the days when families were a lot stricter. The father comes in, he left with him because he found out he's bunk off school. This makes me laugh. I don't laugh, but it does make me chuckle. They find out because the postman's been posting letters and they found out he was skipping school and he got a good hiding from his dad. Don't forget, different era, different time. They get the fucking postman. They say, you send another letter at that door and in goes your head in the fucking oven. I love it. I love it when it passes. Just me having a sick sense of humour there. But it's all right, I had a few chuckles out of that. And again, the bit you might remember in the TV trailer, it was around in that golden era of 1990. I love the bit where he comes in, he looks really all cocked up, shoes a lot, and the mum says that line, you look like a dance star. Which, funny enough, he becomes a dance star. There's a bit where he gets caught selling bung off snidey stuff because he keeps his mouth shut. Robert De Niro meets him, and he was just that serious. He says, you know, I'm happy. You did the one best thing. You always keep your mouth shut. What it does is he's out doing near the end of the film. Then you've got the radio. He's now growing up, and so on. And this is the bit where actually you get Dolce Pesce. And Dolce Pesce, I love him. He's an highlight of the film. An highlight. You know, I remember him in Lethal Weapon 2, and this was like 1 year after Lethal Weapon 2. And he's one of them actors. He can be really funny. He can make you laugh. He can really be a funny character, and he can be a really nasty piece of work. And he really takes his character a lot in this. You see a lot of acting talent in this. I love the bit where he's throwing a joke. Bing, bang, bang. What is it? You think I'm funny? I'm here. I'm here to fucking amuse you. I'm a town. I'm here to make you laugh. I love that. He's sort of serious. You're shitting yourself at the same time. You're about to laugh. And then he swats this fucking guy. There's bits in the way you find out it's not funny, like the bit where he shoots a lad called Spider, which I believe the MPA and censorship wanted cutting, removing. And I'm kind of happy they didn't because it really shows Joe Pesce is really not a nice guy. Gets a bit too cocky. You don't want to fuck with him, guy. But yeah, I like that. And when you think about it, it's like been the first time that Joe Pesci started with Robert De Niro. When no one knows Robert De Niro, you know that Joe Pesci made his first appearance in Racing Bull, another true story. And then he appeared in another gangster film with Robert De Niro, being Once Upon a Time in America. So it's not a stage that was starring with Robert De Niro. We all know he also appeared in Casino with Robert De Niro. So he had a great number of experience working with the man. Robert De Niro's waiting, being Robert De Niro. So, like I say, there's a bit of it on a date. He meets this girl, they get to death, there's this guy who laid into her. So I love the bit where our mate Radio, he gets it done, he sneaks up to him and says, "What the fuck are you looking at? Boom, 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 boom. You touch it again, I'll fucking kill you." I love that scene. Proper badass. So they end up getting married. There's a bit where he's cheating on her, what's it done to his head, and a little bit where he slaps her one, not even menacing women. But I just love the bit he says, "How do you like that, eh? How do you like I get all this shit and I come home to this." Boom. Don't hit it, it's a wall. But yeah, you know what I mean? Naturally, someone puts a gun to your face, understandable. Not like I do what he did. But this is, as the film goes on, they get greedy. The more money they get, the more greedier they get being dancers. And I love the way that Radio is showing the story here and there. There's a bit where he gets hooked on coke. Bit where Robert De Niro's getting pissed off because he's sold him these shitty fucking guns. And there's a bit where he's really pissed off. Even, I don't know if it breaks the barrel off. I like the way it breaks the barrier. Radio, it says he's so pissed off, he never even said goodbye. And I just love that, the way he breaks the barrier off. And like I said, there's one bit where it opens up at the beginning. I can forget this. It opened up at the beginning for all this, where this guy gets bumped off, and it shows that in the film. There's one guy, right, he comes out of prison and he makes Joe Pesci look like that because he used to have a job signing shoes. And goes, Joe Pesci doesn't like it. He has to go back saying, "I don't sign shoes anymore." At first, you think it's going to be nice. You're going to think it's going to be time, situation. But then he says to him, "Now come and get your fucking shoes." He snaps up, understandable. "You motherfucker," and all this. And Robert De Niro's pushing him away. He walks off. You think it's going to be settled. "You gotta teach your kids some manners. Come on, come on." You broke his balls a little bit. I didn't break no balls. So they get it settled. And he goes in. And Dr. Pesci really fucking lays into him. Robert De Niro batters him. They kick the shit out of him. There's a bit being a fucked up myself where I've got a laugh. Dr. Pesci says, "I didn't mean to get blood on your carpet." I mean, that made me a few chuckles there. Well, he gets bumped off and it's a big mistake. Big mistake. Because he was one of the main mans and you could have just killed one of the big main bosses. So to make an example, they couldn't do anything with Robert De Niro. He's basically one of the big men and all. So they killed Joe Pesci. The dad in the film is basically you don't like Joe Pesci. I've got to say the kid goes spider. He shoots this little young lad in his foot, and then he gets better. He's got a bandage. He's leaping. He says, "You're leaping, you leaping little prick. Come here and be my baby." So the lad tells him to fuck off. Big mistake. Robert De Niro's laughing, saying, "Are you going to take that?" Big mistake. Because Dr. Pesci just shoots this poor lad to death. And I mean, shoots him. And that's the bit where you see he's not funny. So, like I say, at the time, the MPA, your board of censors wanted that. And I'm happy they didn't. I'm happy they didn't because it just shows that Dr. Pesci is kind of getting a bit cold-hearted at that point. And like I say, he killed one of his main men. Big mistake. So they make an example. They make out that Dr. Pesci is getting a knighthood. He's getting worked his way up. He goes to his house. Wants to know what the fuck's going on. Gets shot in the back of the head. Gets killed. Robert De Niro finds out. He cries his heart out. Smashes a phone booth. Nothing they could do. It's like, you can't kill Robert De Niro. It's one of the high up ones, but they can kill Dr. Pesci to make an example. And they did. And it's shit. That's the mafia. But I always like the bits in it where you got one guy with an airpiece, and Robert De Niro batters him. Before Joe Pesci got killed, he gets stabbed in the head. Again, a lot of baking the virus. You got a scene where, again, our mate, he tells the story saying, it's not like you see in gangster films when you're going to get bumped off. You always know it's when you don't expect it. And I like that little touch. I like it. But there's a bit in the film, like I say, that he ends up in prison for a bit and then comes out of prison. And you got ideas on coke, radio, and he's fucking his life up, but then he goes on the witness protection because he knows too much. But before all that, Robert De Niro panics thinks that he's going to open his mouth, thinks he's going to blab. And he goes to try to kill his wife, doesn't happen. So at that point, he goes on I get right there. He goes on witness, I meant to say, witness protection. Goes to court, gets them all put away, and then the character, he ends up having to be on witness protection for the rest of his life. And he sort of like cries, saying he can't afford to look this anymore, he can't afford this, his life sucks, he has a dead end job, and so on. But that's how the story goes, that's how it ends. But I didn't mind the Goodfellas, didn't mind it, you know what I mean? It was a good story, it won an award in 1990, and rightly so. You know what I mean? A lot of gangster films were coming out again. Like I said, they did the third Godfather film, not one of the best. I'll probably review that as well as all three of them because they're classics. Probably review other gangster films on the way. But yeah, I didn't mind the Goodfellas for what it was. It was a gangster film. It was based on the olden times. I like the way it's based on the 60s, a little bit of the 50s, I should say, then the 60s, goes up to the 70s, makes you have that feel of that era. It's era when they were doing money and all this, but as this go on, they go into selling drugs. You got one dancer who's old school, turns his back on radio because he doesn't agree with selling drugs, being coke. But I didn't mind it for what it was. You know what I mean? It was a gangster film, had good actors in it, like I said, I keep repeating myself. Joe Pesci, Ray Liotta, may he rest in peace. Robert De Niro, one of the best fucking actors in the business. In my eyes, a very damn good actor. It's always an highlight to see him in any film because you always know you're going to see a good performance. None of this wooden fucking acting like you see nowadays. So yeah, the Goodfellas, based on a true story. Yeah, it was out of fire when it first come out, but it was a true story. It sold dancers in a different light. It didn't dramatise them. It didn't make them look like fucking Hollywood movie stars. It sold dancers as what they were. And that's what I can appreciate with the Goodfellas. We're into them. Be smart. Be safe. Fuck it. A 10-star rating for me because I don't make films like this anymore. And it shows. We're into them. Be smart. Be safe. And get your shoe sign box.